the core message of your presentation today, Optimal English Education?
The core message is we're doing it the hard way. There is needless suffering. English language acquisition is much, much easier than we ever thought. We think that you acquire language in one way, not by studying grammar, not by doing flashcards, not by memorizing vocabulary. You get it by listening and understanding, reading and understanding, and being interested in meaning. So we think that good classes consist of lots and lots of stories that children love. They love the story, it's so interesting they forget that it's in English. And later on, it's to help children get a reading habit so they can read for pleasure in English. If you read 200-300 books in English for pleasure, you don't look up words, you just like the story, your English will be fine. This is the core message. Listening to stories, reading stories, this is how people develop language. Easy way, not grammar study.
How can Korean teachers start free voluntary reading in school and at home?
There is one factor, access to books. Right now in Korea, it is very difficult to do a free voluntary reading program. Where are the books? So the first step in answering your question, how do you do a free voluntary reading program, is to improve libraries. And financially, this is very easy. The price of 5 computers, you can really invest in lots of inexpensive books, comic books, magazines, etc. The first thing is classroom libraries and school libraries filled with books that children like. And the people who can help you find the books are the good readers.
Among good books you included comic books and magazines. How about movie scripts, especially Hollywood movies? Lots of Korean students are reading Hollywood movie scripts.
If they read the script because they love the script, fine. A movie script is a play. If you call it a play, drama, then English teachers will respect it. Parents will respect it. Like Shakespeare is a script. Oh, I'm reading Shakespeare. Oh, that's very good. Oh, I'm reading a movie script. Junk. No, some movies are wonderful. Just because they're new and contemporary doesn't mean they're bad. There are some marvelous movies that have been made. And I think the scripts qualify as literature. And they speak to you. They really influence people. There have been some terrific, every year there's some excellent, excellent movies.
When it comes to bilingual education, we often think that it is effective for Korean parents to teach their babies in both languages. So if a Korean parent read 5 books a day every night, just like bedtime stories, are they becoming bilingualists in the future?
The only thing that's going to happen is that the parents will get very sleepy. Number one, you don't have to begin when the children are young. The best time to begin is older, really. Older children go faster than younger children. A 10-year-old acquires language faster than a 5-year-old. So if you want efficiency, start when the child is older. What the children really need when they're young is Korean. Lots of stories, tons of stories in Korean. Lots of interaction and deep discussions with mommy and daddy in Korean. Reading in Korean, TV in Korean, good movies in Korean. They discover more about the world. They grow cognitively, and they get smarter and smarter, and they love reading. Albert Einstein was asked by a parent, how can I get my child to be a scientist like you? And he said, tell them stories, fairy tales. How can I make sure? Tell them more stories, fairy tales, in a language they understand. And later, when the child is 8, 9, 10, you can begin English with stories and free reading, and they'll be wonderful. They'll be fully bilingual. The guarantee of bilingualism is a good foundation in the first language, a reading habit in the first language.
Are there any way to improve reading, listening, and speaking at the same time without going through silent period?
Good. This
good.
is great.
I think, yeah.
Yeah, we need to work together more. This is great. This is wonderful.
Yeah.
Yes, Koreans have been reading, but they're doing the wrong kind of reading. They're reading serious things. And I say, relax, read for pleasure. Read things that will not make you a better person. Read junk. Read detective stories. Read romance. Read historical novels. Read science fiction. Read popular science. Read legal novels, lawyers, all this. Read Harry Potter. This is wonderful stuff. Relax a little. Then you'll get the more colloquial language. You get the day-to-day language, but only read it if it's exciting. We think now the key to language acquisition is input, not input that's just interesting. This is a new word, input that's compelling. Compelling means it's so interesting you forget who you are. Your sense of time vanishes. Your sense of self vanishes. You don't even know that it's English. You should do better in English. Kids don't care. Get them a good story. Make the topic interesting. That's the key.